Patriots in? That is the question. Stephen A., you have the answer.
Oh, my goodness, Skip Bayless, they're in a world of trouble. And from this perspective, I say this. When you've got Storks and Fleming, two rookies starting in your offensive line, and you let go of Logan Mankins, similar to what you did with Richard Seymour years ago, I definitely think that you have a huge, huge issue. Number one, because you don't have as much protection as you would like to have for Tom Brady. Number two, because you can't run the football as effectively as you customarily did. Number three, you also have an issue because whether it's Josh McDaniels, whether it's Bill Belichick himself or whatever, there's an imbalance in terms of running the passing. I mean, they passed almost twice as much as they ran the football. And if you didn't establish a running game against the Kansas City Chiefs, obviously that's going to spell some trouble for you. But then when you take that and you combine that with Andy Reid, who did an exceptional job of play calling last night. You had Jamal Charles. He had 92 yards rushing on 18 carries. You had Davis. He had 107 yards on 6 carries. He averaged 6.7 yards a carry. They were running the ball. They were allowed to get into play action. Alex Smith, obviously, in the season opener against Tennessee, they were pass happy, and he threw 3 interceptions. They made sure that they had a balanced attack. They spread the ball around. Dwayne Bowe received the ball. Kelsey received the ball. Charles was getting the ball as well in the passing game. So Andy Reid did an exceptional job of spreading the ball around, really, really discombobulating the New England Patriots, making sure that they didn't get to key on any one individual, any one player, because they spread the ball around. They did exactly what the New England Patriots are accustomed to doing. But Tom Brady doesn't seem to be on target, overthrowing, underthrowing passes. Did that to Julian Edelman on 1 interception. You know, he got the strip sack, in their own territory, which led to a touchdown for Kansas City. You just look at the New England Patriots right now. Their personnel is clearly in question. There is no way around that. But at the same time, coaching on a rare occasion appears to be a question mark because Bill Belichick and Josh McDaniels do not appear to be on their A game in terms of their play calling. And as a result, it played right into Kansas City's hands. I don't believe that the New England Patriots are this bad, but they're clearly not as good as we expected them to be. I don't believe Kansas City is this good, but the potential is there for them to be this good. I just think they were going up against an inferior New England Patriots squad at this time. 6-7 weeks from now, probably going to be a different story. But at this juncture, the New England Patriots don't seem to be the New England Patriots.
Okay, so how much trouble are they in then?
They're in a world of trouble.
Like miss the playoffs trouble?
No. See, when I say a world of trouble, I'm measuring them in terms of our Super Bowl prognostications. Remember, I predicted
thank you for bringing that up.
I remember I predicted that they're going to the Super Bowl. They're going to represent the AFC. That prediction is in trouble.
I think you took it one more step. You had them winning at the Super Bowl.
That's right, I did. I don't have them missing the playoffs, but that's by default. It's because they're in the AFC East.
Okay, I want to start off what I'm saying. Now we're in B-roll.
It's all right.
I'm going to blame last night once again on you.
What?
You did this to me. And I'm not kidding about this. You know how you have those moments in your life where you've got something in your head and you just know the Patriots are going to win the AFC after all the great additions they made through the offseason?
Sure.
And all of a sudden, when I least expected it, in our prediction show, you come right on top of my pick of New England gets to the Super Bowl, and you go me one better. You say New England's going to win the Super Bowl. And I had that moment. You know how you have those moments in your life when you just know something just changed dramatically for the worse? That was that moment. I said, I am doomed. I said it on the show. And I knew it. And so what have we seen so far? New England has been like Florida State in college football, where you keep looking on paper at all these players returning and you say, they can't be this bad. Florida State doesn't play up to its talent. New England, even though they're only 2-2, has not played up to its talent. And I'm blaming it on you. But I'm going to try to break the hex by starting off my answer to this question with a prediction. New England will beat the undefeated Cincinnati Bengals next Sunday night in Foxborough.
Let me stop you right there from speaking another second. I'm going to give you a moment to try and change that pick because I was going to pick them to beat Cincinnati too. So now
You know what?
Now,
I'm just going to
say I
hang
jinxed
it.
him now? Is that what you're going to say?
Did you just make that up on the fly?
I swear to you, no.
Did you just decide that at this moment?
Not at all.
Because you're capable of doing that.
Not at all. Yes, I am capable of doing it, and I'm usually right, but not in this particular
Okay, this time I'm going to hang in there because I'm sick and tired today of hearing everyone say Tom Brady is washed up and New England is finished and New England's going to miss the playoffs.
I don't believe that for 1 second.
Well, the reason they're not in grave danger is the last time I checked, in their division, Buffalo just changed quarterbacks. Am I right? The Jets fans are calling for a quarterback change. Am I right? And last week, it appeared to me that Joe Philbin in Miami was actually sort of going back and forth considering a quarterback change before he finally said, well, you're okay. I'm going to go with Ryan Tannehill. So those are three combustible situations. And I think, are the Patriots still in the AFC East?
They are.
I think they are. So okay, they're going to win the AFC East. Now, let's get back to what happened last night. I believe that the Kansas City Chiefs in that stadium before that crowd would have beaten, you name it, the 1995 Dallas Cowboys, who I thought were one of the best teams I ever covered. They would have beaten this year's Seattle. They would have beaten the Bengals or the undefeated Arizona Cardinals, whoever it was, whoever had walked into that stadium last night where they reset the decibel record, and I don't think enough is made of that. We always hear all the hype and mystique about Seattle's 12th man. Well, what about Arrowhead? We're not giving them enough credit for how loud it gets in there, right? I mean, it's crazy loud in that stadium, and they have had a long history of pulling off big wins or big upsets on Monday or Sunday Night Football in that stadium.
It might have a lot to do with the fact that they haven't won a playoff game since 1994.
Okay, well, that's fine. But and again, back to how good is Kansas City? On opening day, it was daytime in that stadium. They lost to Tennessee 26-10. Jake Locker lit them up. And Alex Smith threw 3 interceptions that day. So, no, they're not that good because now they've got to go to San Francisco on a short week, and they are 7.5-point underdogs at San Francisco. So let's keep that in perspective. But last night, they looked like world beaters. What did they do wrong last night? Did they do anything wrong? No, they didn't do anything wrong. They played games of their lives against a team that they were obviously fearful of. And Andy Reid coached one of the best games I've ever seen him coach because, my God, all that motion stuff and that fake reverse stuff that they came out with that I'd never seen before, it had the Patriots off balance from the start. Now, back to the Patriots. Why did you pick them to win the Super Bowl? Because you look at this and you say, Wilfork and Mayo are coming back. They added Darrelle Revis to a secondary. Remember, Casey Joyner, the football scientist, said before the year, be aware here because by the end of the year, this secondary could be better than the Legion of Boom. That's how, you look at it and you say Dennard, who couldn't play last night, but McCourty and Kyle Arrington and Logan Ryan, they're loaded in the secondary. And Ninkovich and Chandler Jones and Jamie Collins. Dante Hightower, this is really a good team. They just did, like in the first half, they came out without urgency, without tenacity. And I'm saying, who are these guys? What do they think they can just roll the New England helmets out there? And all of a sudden the Chiefs will say, we give up. You guys can win. No, they're not going to do that at Arrowhead on a Monday night. And then I look at the offense and I say, oh, Brady doesn't have any weapons. Well, he didn't have any last year. He got them to the AFC Championship game with the very same group, plus a Brandon LaFell. What did he catch? 6 for 119 last night and a touchdown? I know it all came late, a lot of time in garbage time, but still, I thought LaFell would help this group. But clearly, if you can explain to me, whatever happened to Kenbrell Tompkins? Whatever happened to Aaron Dobson? Both were inactive. I don't know if they're hurt because they never tell us exactly what's going on. Are they in the doghouse? Are they in Brady's doghouse? I don't know. Danny Amendola is definitely in Tom Brady's doghouse. And I'm hearing this from people inside that they just don't get along. Brady's got no respect for him. He doesn't play hurt enough. He's not on the same page.
That has a lot to do with it, which is something that I told you when they acquired Danny Amendola. I said but it didn't
seem that bad last year because he had a couple of games that were pretty good. The game on Sunday night.
Well, you're getting to know somebody. You're getting to know somebody, but
maybe too well.
But what I'm saying, but when in crunch time, when you're really called upon to step up, especially in the sport of football, there's a difference between being injured and being hurt. And a lot of times, guys expect you to play hurt because they don't consider you injured per se.
That's correct.
Because they're thinking, we're out here, are you with us? Right. And if you're the quarterback, if you're as fiery and as competitive and as elite as Tom Brady and cares much about winning and being successful as Tom Brady, and you're looking at a dude that does not show up when you need him. And you're accustomed to having a dude who did in Wes Welker. It's a problem.
And I don't think Amendola is the brightest bulb from a football IQ perspective. And you know how Tom Brady is demanding of you to be where you're supposed to be at the split second you're supposed to be there. So they're not on any page at all. So that's a big loss because it degenerated last night with the noise that they are in the shotgun in the first half for 23 snaps. I'm sorry, 17 snaps. 17 out of 23. Yes. They're in the shotgun.
Which was
with
a mistake,
the noise.
by the way.
You can't hear. You can't block anybody. You don't know when the snap is. And he's trying to throw every pass, it seemed to me, to Danny Amendola. If he's triple covered, I'm still going to throw it to Danny Amendola. I'm sorry, to Julian Edelman. Sorry, Julian Edelman. It's like Edelman. And the last time I checked, is Edelman in the same sentence with Randy Moss? Does he have anything to do with Randy Moss? No, thank you very much. So I'm like, what are you thinking? It's like
he did have over 100 receptions last year, though.
He did, and he was great. And I kept telling you last year, I kept making the case for Tom Brady being the MVP because he was throwing to this group, minus much of the year Gronkowski, who, by the way, did have one late catch from Garoppolo and a bulldoze touchdown. So maybe he's starting to play his way back into shape. So that's going to be a plus. Yes. But with this same group last year, Ken Burrell had his moments. Aaron Dobson had his moments. But Tom Brady was the MVP to me because he got that group to the AFC Championship game.
But you're looking at it from that angle. I look at it from this, Skip. Most of it was with play action. Tom Brady, I never saw him in 23 snaps. 17 was from the shotgun position. I didn't see that before. That play action matters. And you will look at Ridley averaging 5.6 yards a carry last night. Now, again, all I'm saying to you is this, just 5 carries, 28 yards. I'm looking at it from the perspective that maybe, just maybe, if you came out there running the football, exercised and employed play action, then you would be in a position where you wouldn't be target practice if you're Tom Brady. You got, listen, especially when you're a defense and you got Tom Ali and Houston and those boys, you're going to find yourself in a situation with that crowd, as loud as they were, roaring, hype for Monday Night Football, going up against a team that was in the AFC Championship game last year, Bill Belichick, Tom Brady. You are going to be hyped. The last thing you want to do is give the impression that you are willing to be target practice. When you get into the shotgun formation and you are a stationary target like Tom Brady is, because he's no scrambler, you are inviting these dudes to get hyped about it, and that's going to make them even more hyped than they were to start out the game.
I agree.
And I think that's
even though Tom Ali was offside on the strip side.
I understand that.
That's fine.
He was offside, but it is what it is. All I'm saying to you is that if you're the New England Patriots, I got to put this on coaching to some strong degree, because why would you try to employ the shotgun offense, given indications that you had a passing attack that was forthcoming, and your primary receiver was LaFell? I know LaFell can play.
He's not bad.
But listen, he's not bad, but he was no Steve Smith in Carolina all of those years. And so I'm looking at it from the perspective that, yeah, you're good, you're talented, but who are you really? You know, are you really better than Kimbrell Tompkins? Are you really better than Aaron Dobson? I mean, why are you that guy?
I don't know.
I'm just saying.
Okay,
I don't know.
Last quick thought.
Yeah, and I'm going to ask him a question.
Okay. I know that after the game on ESPN, Steve Young and Trent Dilfer made a really big deal of Tom Brady getting yanked after his pick-6 interception. And this is just me. I was happy that he was yanked because I wanted to see him protected, because I didn't want to see him go out and get hurt in a meaningless garbage time game. And it's like you need to save him from himself. You don't want to send him back out there because it's going to go from bad to worse. So I was okay with Bill Belichick. And Tom Brady said after the game, well, it wasn't my, they pulled me out. He didn't want to come out. Well, who would want to come out? But I thought it was a good move to take him out.
I didn't think it was a bad move either. But my response to Steve Young and Dilfer, who, by the way, are doing an outstanding job.
They're great.
My teammates, they're fantastic, along with Ray Lewis. Let me just say this. Even if Bill Belichick had elected to take Tom Brady out because it was a poor performance, so what?
Okay.
Sometimes you need, even stars need that source of inspiration. You need to be jolted just a touch.
You do.
This belief that, oh my God, you're so marquee, you're such a star that you can never be yanked. Sometimes you got to mess with somebody like that from time to time, just to remind them they got to get it. They got to get it done too.
Skip talked about after the game, but before the game, Trent and Steve were very adamant, Stephen A., about getting Tom